I speak to you now not as a ruler of armies or a master of empires, but as a man who has walked the long road of life, just as you have. Imagine, if you will, a solitary tent pitched on the edge of a dark, ancient forest. The year is late in the 2nd century. Outside, the wind howls through the trees, carrying the cold rain of the Danube River and the distant, restless sounds of a Roman legion trying to sleep. Inside that tent, by the flickering light of a single oil lamp, an old man sits with a scroll of parchment. His hand is stiff from the cold and from years of holding a sword, but he dips his quill into the ink and begins to write. That man is me, Marcus Aurelius. And on those nights, surrounded by the darkness of war and the weight of the world, I wrote not for history, and certainly not for fame, but simply to keep my own soul strong. I want to tell you the story of how I came to be in that tent, and what I learned along the way, because I believe my journey shares a deep kinship with your own. We all face our own battles, do we not? We all face the weathering of time, just like the ancient marble statues that stand silent in the gardens of Rome. I was not born into the purple robes of an emperor. I was born simply a boy in Rome, a city of noise and marble and ambition. From a young age I felt a pull not toward power, but toward truth. They say that the Emperor Hadrian, a man of immense power and complexity, took a liking to me when I was small. He used to call me Verissimus, which means the truthful one. It was a heavy name for a child, but I tried to live up to it. I remember walking the cobblestone streets, looking up at the great temples, wondering about the nature of the gods and the duties of men. I fell in love with philosophy, with the rough wool cloak of the Stoic student, preferring to sleep on the hard floor rather than a soft bed, much to my mother's worry. I wanted to understand how to be good, not just how to be powerful. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. I was adopted into the imperial line, chosen to rule. When I heard the news that I would one day be emperor, I did not celebrate. I was terrified. I knew that the crown was not a prize, but a burden, a heavy yoke of duty that would demand everything I had. When I finally ascended to the throne, the world seemed to catch fire. It is strange how we plan for peace, yet life presents us with storms. I had hoped for a reign of quiet study and gentle administration. Instead, the Tiber River flooded, destroying homes and livestock. Then came the famine, and then the Great Plague. I watched as the streets of Rome, once vibrant with golden sunset light, became filled with carts carrying the dead. I buried my own children. I watched friends and teachers succumb to the sickness. If you have lived long enough, you know this pain. You know the hollow feeling of loss, the way the world seems to turn gray when those we love leave us. In those moments, I had to remind myself of the core Stoic truth, that loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. I had to stand strong for the people, even when my own heart was breaking. I learned that to be a leader, or a father, or simply a good man, requires a quiet endurance. It is like standing as a rocky promontory against the waves. The waters crash against it, yet it stands still, and the taming of the fury falls around it. Then came the wars. For years, I did not see the comforts of Rome. I lived in military camps, surrounded by mud and iron. The barbarians were pressing against our borders, threatening to destroy everything we had built. I, a man who loved books and silence, was forced to lead men into the chaos of battle. I remember sitting on my horse, looking out over the misty fields before a battle, seeing the fear in the eyes of young soldiers. I felt it too, but I wrote to myself in my journals, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." I learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision that duty is more important than fear. I spent my nights in that tent I described to you, listening to the rain drumming on the canvas, writing down thoughts to steady my mind. Those writings became what you now know as meditations. They were my lifeline. They were my way of telling myself that even here, amidst blood and mud, I could remain a human being. I could keep my soul tranquil, like a sphere in perfect balance. I faced betrayal, too. Avidius Cassius, a general I trusted, a man I had praised, declared himself emperor in the East. He thought I was dying, or perhaps he just grew impatient. It hurts when trust is broken. It stings like a wound. But when his rebellion failed and his head was brought to me by his own soldiers, I did not feel triumph. I felt sadness. I had hoped to forgive him. I burned his correspondence without reading it, so that I would not have to punish those who conspired with him. I chose mercy over revenge. I tell you this because as we age, we often carry old grudges like heavy stones in a sack. We let the betrayals of the past weigh us down, but I found that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. To let go is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. It cleanses the soul and leaves us free to enjoy the time we have left. Now, I am an old man in your eyes, speaking to you from the dust of history. My hair is gray, my face lined like the weathered stone of an ancient ruin. I look back on my life and I see that the empire, the wars, the applause, and the power were all fleeting. They are like incense ashes on an altar, a quick flash and then gone. What mattered were the moments of kindness. What mattered was the effort to do the right thing, even when no one was watching. What mattered was the quiet peace I found in my own mind, amidst the chaos. I know that you, too, have faced your own wars. You have weathered storms that no one else saw. You have endured the loss of loved ones, the changing of the times, the frailty of the body, and yet you are here. You are still standing. That is a triumph greater than any military victory. I want you to know that it is never too late to find that inner citadel, that fortress of peace within yourself. Even now, as the shadows lengthen and the evening of life approaches, there is beauty to be found. Think of the way the golden light of the setting sun touches the tops of the trees. It is a different light than the harsh glare of noon, softer, more forgiving, more beautiful. That is where you are now. You have the wisdom of experience. You have the perspective that only time can give. Do not waste these days worrying about what has been or what is to come. Confine yourself to the present. This moment is a gift. As we continue this journey together in the episodes to come, I will share with you the specific tools I use to keep my sanity and my joy. We will talk about how to handle pain, how to deal with difficult people, and how to face the inevitable end with dignity and calm. But for now, I ask you simply to breathe. Look around you, appreciate the quiet. Remember that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The life of a man is what his thoughts make of it. My life was a struggle, yes, but it was also a privilege, and so is yours. Until we speak again, my friend, walk with virtue, and find peace in the present moment.